This Saturday from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern, Real America's Voice brings you an exclusive special event. AMAC Presents Boot Camp for Patriots.
Give me liberty or give me death.
You're invited to a pivotal gathering of leaders, experts, and patriots coming together at a time when America stands at a crossroads.
But be out there fighting in that realm.
Education and indoctrination, election integrity, and more of the urgent issues that matter most to your family, your community, and your country. More than a conference, it's a call to action. Whether you're a citizen, a community leader, or a grassroots activist, your voice is needed now. Join us as we unite around faith, family, and freedom and take the fight for America's future to the next level. Don't miss it. AMAC Presents Boot Camp for Patriots. This Saturday from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. Only on Real America's Voice.
I have a very special guest coming up, but in the meantime, I want to knock a few topics out of the way because, John, we were talking with Dr. Gorka about President Trump's impact on the world stage. And you look at everything that he has been able to accomplish, and it has been virtually 8 accomplishments in 8 months because there were 2 in August. So that backs it up to March, and it is 8 for 8. Yeah. It's incredible.
No, it is. There's enormous progress. And it's what happens when the American agenda is made clear, meaning you know where America stands, then you ask what is the objective, whatever that objective is you try to achieve, and then the clarity of voice at which the president speaks at is I want peace, I want the killing to stop, I want the hostages home. The ask is clear. When Joe Biden was president, it was always mumbled. Not the words, I mean he mumbled all the time, but the message was mumbled.
The articulation,
you just didn't know where the administration was, and I think that was a really significant degradation of American policy. That's why we got nothing done in those 4 years or the world really became more unstable. We had many world leaders come on the show saying, we don't know where America stands right now.
I know, and you know, that clarity, what's so important about that clarity is that whether you agree or disagree with the president's motives, with his goals on foreign policy, it reminds me of that poll that I talked about. 52% of Americans feel that President Trump is keeping his promises. That doesn't necessarily mean that they like his promises, but he's keeping them, and people just aren't used to seeing that in Washington. But you know, this is a guy who came into office in his first term. They said it over and over and over again. He's going to start World War III. He doesn't have any diplomatic experience. He doesn't have foreign policy experience. You know, he's never done any of this wheeling and dealing. But at the end of the day, the thing that set President Trump apart was not only that, but also the fact that he doesn't make money off the war machine. It's not something that he has been inculcated in for decades of public service in Washington. And he was the guy who came in and has had more success than any of these so-called experienced policy folks.
It is remarkable. And listen, we're only a quarter of the way into the presidency, so who knows what is still on the horizon. Going back to Seb Gorka interview, I think we had a big hint. We broke some news here. It sounds like Antifa is going to be soon designated an international terrorist organization, and all the tools that he then will leave in it. But he said stay tuned, and he kind of hinted at where they were going. And you kind of get that feel watching that Antifa event the other day that the president was moving in that direction.
Absolutely.
But Seb laid it out. Hey, since World War I, the aftermath of World War I, Antifa was already an international organization. I thought that was a really big moment in the interview today. Congresswoman Houchin, the clarity which she laid out the illegal alien scam that's part of this. The Democrats are lying to the American people. And listen, if the Republicans are lying, we tell you that too. They're not telling you the truth. They really do want illegal aliens to get benefits. They gave them a fake name. They called them asylees when they didn't meet the standard. President Trump took that away with an executive order. But that is a really, the way she laid it out was one of the most easiest ways to understand it. And the American people need to realize you're being shut down.
Absolutely.
So that an illegal alien can get health care benefits. That's what this whole debate turns on.
Well, and not only are they being shut down, they're being gaslit by their Democrat leaders on Capitol Hill, gaslit, because, and I know you remember us having this conversation over and over again ad nauseum under President Joe Biden, because we were talking about how they changed the definition of asylum. They changed the definition of parolee, so that they could usher them into this country. And people might have forgotten about that, where if it not were for this specific instance where they are trying to use that mangling of language to get what they want.
Yeah, no. Chuck Schumer said the secret out loud, right?
Yeah.
It gets better every day. We keep the American people punished because we can score some points with our base. This is not about even winning the general election. This is about getting their money base back, because the money base has been so demoralized. But you, the American people, are the hostage in that effort to get Democratic money to flow back to the lefties in the party. And make no doubt about it, AOC is much more in charge of the party now. She's a puppet master than maybe the two current leaders. I think several people have said that on the show. I think there's some truth to that in what I'm seeing and hearing now. Everybody's afraid to be primaried by AOC or Bernie or whoever the far left machine is going to run that. But you, the American people, are held hostage in that. And I think that that's something we got to keep explaining every night.
Yeah, there's an old proverb that says a bee can move a bull. And I think AOC is the bee and the bull is the Democrat Party. But John, from your perspective, because you've been reporting on Washington for so long, for Chuck Schumer, someone who, he, regardless of who he is catering to at the moment, he's not an AOC Democrat. He's not an AOC progressive. No. How does he save his caucus in the Senate? How does he save his party? How does he save face personally for himself? But still, he's got to not get blamed for the shutdown, but he also has to not tick off AOC and her ilk. So how does he do that? How does he balance that?
Listen, Donald Trump showed how to do this after 2021. The rhinos wanted to come back and kind of push the MAGA movement out, and he just pinned them back down. I mean, Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney and anyone who tried to step into that vote, he just buried out. It takes courage to fight back when you have an extremist wing in your own party, but it's the safer way to call it out and knock it down. Bill Clinton did this in 91, 92, rebounding from the Michael Dukakis leftist failure of 1988. You got to stand up to that side of the party and say, you're destroying us, and I'm going to beat you down until you get out of the party, find another home. But right now, the old, tired leadership of the Democrats don't have the courage to do that. Donald Trump has a playbook. Bill Clinton had a playbook. They're not playing it. They're actually capitulating.
Yeah, it's amazing.
To their own detriment.
And I keep saying that I don't know what is going to bring Democrats to the table, because frankly, John, Republicans can push back from the table and say, we gave you a clean CR, as this drags.
They're making a vote every couple of days.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and as time drags on, the closer and closer we are getting to Russ Vought getting his wish.
Yeah, I think that's the next thing. Just pull that trigger and see what happens. That's going to happen soon. Amanda, I've been thinking a lot about central bank digital currencies. We've been doing a lot of research on that. It's a scary thing. In the next segment, we're going to have a really good conversation about that. I think we should take a quick commercial break and do that. What do you think?
I agree. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, we'll be right back, folks.